Hey YouTube, it's JP Dillon. Welcome to part 3 of the 1970s Magnavox Model 300 AM FM stereo receiver. Today we're going to focus on getting a pilot lamp in here, which according to sources of knowledge is somewhere around this point right underneath the FM stereo lamp, because right now you can't tell if it's on or off unless the tuner is engaged. We also need to work on FM stereo separation and a little bit of work on the oscillator, which is reading a little bit high. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the front panel off, which requires pulling the knobs and the removal of a couple of 1/4-inch hex screws, and then we should be able to pop this front off. So with the front panel off, we see that we have our tuning meter, which is there, and then gosh, it's hard to see, but there's the little dot there that it's supposed to shine through, which looks like this guy right here. And if we go down, we see that right there looks to be the pilot lamp. So I really didn't have to take that apart, which is both good and bad, I guess. So I'm going to snake the nut driver in here, and we're going to pull out the pilot lamp, which, knowing Magnavox, is probably an 1847 or something like that. We'll see. Could be a 49 too. I don't really know. But there's the lamp housing there. And let's see if I can pull this out while holding the camera. All right. Yep, I'm going to need 2 hands for this. Let me get this out. So that is a GE 1902 or 1302. Kind of looks like 13. Can't really tell with the glare here. Looks like a 1302 though. And that filament is decidedly broken. In fact, if we get up on it with the macro, you can see right there the break in the filament. So that looks like a 1302. And we're going to look that up and see what that number is. So according to Google, that's a 6 volt, 40 milliampere. That makes sense. Just a little pilot light, enough illumination to keep it on. So yeah, I think I have something I can throw at that. Alright, so there's a replacement lamp. And you can see it's just bright enough for a pilot lamp. Let's see what it looks like in the set. And without the faceplate, there's our pilot lamp. Let's put the faceplate back on. And with the faceplate on, oh, came unplugged. There we go. There's our little red dot there that shows that you're powered on and alive. They could have done better. You know, maybe like illuminate the emblem or something, but anyways, you can now tell that it's running versus not running, which is good. I think they should have done a better job on that one. Anyways, moving on, let's address the tuner problem. Alright, so there are a couple of problems. Number one, I'm broadcasting at 98.5, not 100.3. Also, our center of channel meter is way off. And so if I weaken the signal a little bit, and we see that there's distortion on one side and distortion on the other side, when we get to that center point right there, we're supposed to be right smack dab in the center. We're not in the center. So our detector core is probably a little bit off, and that could be, you know, due to the corrosion here that we're seeing. But in any case, the first thing I want to do is get an appropriate non-metallic tool, and we'll see if we can go to the detector cores down here. I think that's what these are, and we can center up that meter. That way, when we're off channel, when we're a little bit to the right, it shows a little bit to the right, and when we're a little bit to the left here, shows a little bit to the left. So let's go back and double check that. Make sure that's all centered up again. Yep. Very good. Okay. Let's crank up our signal a bit. And now let's take a look at our multiplex, which we can see is separation is not very good. So this is your multiplexer here, which has been replaced. It's got an ECG part in here. This is your 19, your 67, and your 38. And we need to touch those up so that we get proper response from the multiplex. So the first thing I'm going to do is peek out the 19. Assuming I can get my big fat fingers to turn the damn thing. Alright, so that's peeking that out. And let's go to our 38. That's a big difference right there. And see how we can nullify that channel? Now let's see here. Alright. So that should be good. So we got left and we got right. You see that there's a little bit of a difference there. So again, we'll see if we can nullify that. Let's go back and forth again. It's about equal. All right. So we're good with that. Now we just need to adjust the oscillator. And let's see here. The oscillator coil's typically this guy. Let me get the appropriate tool. And let's just double check here. Yep, that's our fine oscillator. Let's see if I can get down in here and see where the do we even have a trimmer for that? Unless that's this guy right here. Look, that looks like what it is. Okay, so let me get the appropriate tool. And we'll adjust this until we get. I moved the dial over to 98.5, so I'm trying to dial it in for that. So that looks good there. And then let me find my IF test point, if they even have one here. If not, I can just go to one of the stages here and see what my RF looks like, and then we'll peek out the trimmers. So let me get my scope on that. And so if we get our scope and we come to, let's say, the first amplifier here, and we'll turn down our modulation. And so there, let's turn this off. We see that we have, this is our RF. And as I increase the signal generator RF, you can see this goes up and down. So what I'm going to do is peak the RF trimmers so that we get the best RF signal there at that first stage. So here's the first trimmer. You see that there's quite a bit of difference there. Let's peek that out. Wow, they're missing out on a lot of performance. Let's turn down our signal a bit. And let's keep going. Not a whole lot up. We're on the AM one. Let's go to the FM one. And then we'll go back and re-peak these. It's looking like that's the best. Okay. So that's pretty good there. That's about, sensitivity's down to about, let's see if we can tune that a little better there. It's down to about 3 microvolts before it starts to really break up. So that's not bad. We'll come back to our audio there. Okay. And let's see what our muting threshold is. That's a little high there. That's like 200 microvolts. It should be more like 30. Let's see if there's an adjustment. Usually there is. So let me turn muting back on. And it's probably going to be one of these two. I'm just going to rock them temporarily and see if we get any change in the muting behavior. Oh, so we'll just return that. And then no change there, so we'll just return that to where it was. So I guess they really want you to have a fat signal. Yeah, I could look at the service manual, but realistically, they just want you to have a really clean signal for stereo. But once you hit that 200 mark, that's okay. So it's decent sensitivity. Let's turn stereo off again and let's decrease. Make sure we're back on center here again. And maybe retouch our detector. That's pretty good. I'll turn the signal back up there. Turn our stereo pilot back on. So yeah, that's about as good as she's going to get. Let's do a quick band scan here. Go to mono. Pretty decent sensitivity. And I can pick up the jazz station in here, which is kind of impressive. Yeah, it's working pretty good. And works pretty decent. Gets to 1070 okay. And then when we go back to aux, there's our little dot staring us in the face. So this thing's good to go. We'll box it back up and send it on back to its owner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and we're going to have more stuff to come pretty soon. We have another small tube type television to work on, and then we have a parts unit now for the AW6000, so we'll be able to get back into that soon as I can clear my bench of things. But yeah, more stuff to come. Again, thanks for watching.